Business Review, a daily program that delves into the latest and most significant economic stories. From stock markets to currency news, Business Review covers the most up-to-date developments in the global economic world.
The chief executive of British Airways parent IAG said on Wednesday, February 5th, the coronavirus epidemic will have an only marginal impact on global travel demand, and the airline industry is healthy enough to absorb any economic slowdown in China. Dozens of airlines have suspended flights to China in response to the worsening health emergency, while a meeting of international aviation officials in Singapore was cancelled.
I think the aviation industry is very robust. We may see some marginal impact, but quite honestly, in any of the figures that I can see from my own airlines, it's not having an impact.
British Airways had suspended flights between London Heathrow and Beijing and Shanghai, which Walsh said represented around 1% of the airline's capacity. There had been no impact on the group's other airlines, including Ireland's Aer Lingus and Spain Iberia, as they do not fly to China. Qatar Airways, which owns a minority stake in IAG, has also cancelled passenger flights to China, though its chief executive said that was because other countries had placed entry restrictions on those who had recently visited China. Akbar al-Bakr said that made it difficult to staff China flights because those staff would not be able to operate flights to some other countries for some time afterwards. A global airline lobby, the International Air Transport Association, said it was too early to say how much the virus would impact the industry this year, but is confident of a recovery. Meanwhile, in other economic developments, British Airways Flight 112 from New York JFK to London Heathrow on Saturday, February 8th, achieved the fastest subsonic flight duration ever. The route clocked in at just 4 hours and 56 minutes, according to the data collected by Flight Radar 24. The average flight time for that route is usually 6 hours and 13 minutes. During the flight, the Boeing 747-436 aircraft reached speeds of 800 miles per hour.
China Media Group CMG commentary published on Friday stressed that China's economic growth will continue steadily in the long term despite the novel coronavirus outbreak. President Xi Jinping has said China has full confidence and capability to prevail over the current epidemic, and that the trend of the Chinese economy maintaining long-term growth will not change. The improving trend will be maintained and supported by measures that have been taken since the novel coronavirus outbreak, as well as the resilience of the Chinese economy itself. The government has introduced a series of measures to counter the negative impact caused by the outbreak. As of Thursday, governments at all levels had allocated 66.74 billion yuan, or about $9.55 billion for the containment of the epidemic. Over 40% of the allocation has already been spent. The central bank has provided re-lending funds of 300 billion yuan, up to $43 billion to national banks and local banks in the worst-hit regions, which will then grant credit support at favorable interest rates to key manufacturers of medical supplies and daily necessities. Earlier this week, the central bank pumped a total of 1.7 trillion yuan of liquidity to stabilize the financial markets, after which the stock market rebounded and cross-border capital flows and foreign exchanges, supply and demand remained basically stable. The latest performance of the financial market reflects investor confidence in the Chinese government's ability to contain the epidemic and in the country's future economic growth. China's economic fundamentals have set a solid foundation for long-term growth. The outbreak has so far affected such sectors as tourism, catering and entertainment, especially as it hit the nation during the annual Spring Festival holiday, where the impact is expected to be temporary. During this period, such areas as online shopping, online health services, and online gaming have seen rapid growth. Moreover, the resilient Chinese economy will see recovery in investment and consumption after the epidemic is over. According to economists, as China has plenty of policy tools and ample room for maneuver, it is able to keep up the trend of the Chinese economy growing steadily in the long term.
Foreign experts on Thursday hailed China's swift action to ensure stable economy as it fights against the novel coronavirus, saying that China's economic growth momentum will not change despite of the epidemic outbreak. Eric Bergloff, director of the Institute for Global Affairs at the London School of Economics, said during an interview with China's Central Television that the Chinese economy will experience a short-term impact from the outbreak, but it will not change its trend of stable development. Bergloff stressed definitely there will be a short-term impact, adding that these catastrophes then typically have a short-term impact and that the economy bounced back. China has rolled out a raft of measures to strengthen its financial support for epidemic control. The People's Bank of China will use monetary policy tools such as open market operations to release sufficient liquidity into the market and keep interest rates at a stable level. Domenico Ferreni, Chief Investment Officer with the Investec Asset Management, praised the measures, saying that it's very important that the People's Bank of China is proactive during the time. Ferreni stated that the injection of liquidity on money markets creates a stability, as it is important because that has a knock-on effect on the sentiment and so on. Further to that, the People's Bank of China has been very effective in introducing policies that are going to make lending available to the affected area of the coronavirus, thus stimulating the economy.
China's central and local authorities have taken measures to help enterprises to resume production after extended Spring Festival holiday amid fight against the coronavirus pneumonia. The Chinese Spring Festival holiday, scheduled to end on January 30th, was officially extended to February 2nd in efforts to contain spreading of the novel coronavirus. Many local governments encouraged people work from home till February 9th. The Shanghai Municipal Government and the Shaanxi Provincial Government have taken measures to support service enterprises and small and medium-sized enterprises to overcome the difficulties caused by the epidemic. Shanghai's policies included increasing fiscal and tax support for key epidemic prevention enterprises, reducing and exempting rentals for enterprises' houses, giving preferential tax to relevant enterprises and individuals, exempting individual businesses from regular quota tax burden, and appropriately lowering the medical insurance rate for employees. The provincial government in North China's Shaanxi issued a document on supporting small and medium enterprises on Thursday, including financial support, rent relief, deferred payment of tax relief, social security support, account settling and service guarantee. 4 suspended bus routes have gradually resumed operation. Judging by the passenger flow after the resumption of work, the Municipal Transport Department will increase the number of shifts and shorten the shift interval of urban rail transit, public buses, electric buses, and on-water buses to meet the need of the people. Many enterprises in China's Zhejiang province have resumed production, and the local governments took measures to check health condition of returned workers to tackle with the shortage of workers and difficulties in purchasing epidemic prevention materials. The county government has deployed 10 groups to assist 43 enterprises that have returned to work. With the coordination of local governments, the enterprises have not only reserved 5,000 masks and 3 tons of disinfectant, but also prepared the raw materials that could be used for 2 months. More than 400 manufacturers under the China National Nuclear Cooperation have resumed construction of many national key projects.
This has been Business Review, your daily source for the most critical stories in the financial world. Tune in next time for the latest financial news impacting the world economy.